So great to have you, Wilson, on the Business Owner Spotlight series and excited to learn more about you. Introduce yourself a little bit.
Yeah, hi, my name is Wilson Bautista. I am the CEO of Jün Cyber. We are an IT management services, cybersecurity, and compliance firm based out of St. Petersburg, Florida.
Very cool. And I'm excited to hear a little bit about how did the company start? How long have you been doing it? Tell me a little bit about your story.
Yeah, so, I started out in October of 2019, which was probably a very interesting time to start because I didn't know the pandemic was going to happen. And we originally were planning to be a cybersecurity consulting firm, just do consulting, because there's a lot of businesses out there, specifically within the defense industry, that need compliance of their systems to handle government information. And that is what I was doing before. And then COVID happened. And so we had to pivot a lot, but I'm sure we'll get into that a little
Yeah,
bit
I would
later.
love to hear, especially from, an IT perspective, how things shifted. I mean, we all felt a lot of that. And why don't we get into that? Like what are things that you really saw then and how have you seen that stay today? Like what's still around today that you saw then?
Yeah, so everybody knows that we had to shift a lot to remote work, right? Even myself had to pivot to how do you support people, to continue working, but from a remote location. And then also from just like a revenue
Mhm.
forecasting position, it's just like, okay, the world is changing really quick. I need to figure out how to make revenue and nobody's putting any money towards projects that I kind of work on. So I need to figure out really quick, how do I need to generate revenue? And so I had to open up my line of services to include just general IT consulting. And
Hmm.
then it turned into, oh, so if you consult and you could point out the problems, can you fix them? I'm like, yeah, I could fix them. Okay, well, if you could fix them, can you maintain them? I'm like, yeah, I could do that too. I have now a team of folks that help me do all of this and more, which is great. So yeah,
That's
that's
awesome.
yeah, that's how we pivoted into what we're doing now, and we're having a good time doing it.
That's awesome. And are you still seeing a lot of remote working and a lot of reliance, even more than ever, on technology? Like, tell me a little bit about how of that has shifted, or is it still the same? Like, what do you see?
So I would say that COVID definitely did change the way that people work, right? That's just a given. And I would say that with more people now, or more companies and more leadership asking for a more hybrid working environment, you see a reliance on technology to be more flexible,
Hmm.
right? It's not just you have your office computer anymore. Now it's just like, hey, you have a laptop, right? And from a security perspective, how do you protect that laptop when you're out at the coffee shop,
Right.
right? And then you have different, I guess, different disciplines within security you have to think about, and you have to train the client, the end user. So we've seen a lot of changes with just between COVID and now currently you're seeing a lot of differences with artificial intelligence being
Hmm.
used more in the mainstream. In the technology fields, we've been using artificial intelligence for a lot of different things already, but now people are just using chat GPT and all of these other kind of AI tools. They're now just discovering it's like, okay, well, technology is really, really becoming a forefront of
Yeah.
how business is being done. And that's something that we like to also point out. It's like we can also do automation work. We also support our clients with business process improvements using artificial intelligence, robotic process automation. We love to do all of that stuff as well. So we've changed from that cybersecurity consulting firm to a full-fledged technology consulting and managed services company.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I mean, it almost seems like that's what your clients demanded of you and they needed from you. So being able to provide that and build the team behind you. So now you mentioned you have a team now. How large is your team? How do you kind of structuring that as you move forward to continue to do what you need to do for the demands of your clients?
Yeah, so when I first started, I think like when everybody first starts, you're doing everything, and then you
Mhm.
realize that you can't do everything, and you need to delegate. A story is like I was spending like hours on end trying to figure out how to make a website, and I
Oh,
said,
wow.
"This is not making me any money, and I could pay somebody to do this for me. So why don't I do that?" And from there, it was just like, okay, I need somebody to help me with marketing. Right?
Mm,
So I'm outsourcing my marketing. I'm outsourcing some of the IT system administration things, right? So I have somebody that does strictly my IT system administration items. I have somebody who does compliance maintenance, and I'm able to go out and do my consulting. The way that we look at our business is, I mean, of course, you have your operations, you have your back end, but our lines of business are IT managed services, cybersecurity and compliance services, and then emerging technologies and automation.
okay.
So I have teams of people that support each of these legs of the business in order to generate revenue and continue operations.
Cool. That makes a lot of sense. And sounds like you've really even organized your thoughts around the different categories and how they play into each other so that you can structure for growth. How have your ideal clients shifted over this time? Is it the same clients that you had before you kind of developed your services? Or are you seeing a different clientele that's really ideal for you today? And who are the ones that are ideal?
So it depends on the line of business, right? When it comes to like general IT managed services, we have a mixed bag, right? We have an executive recruiting firm, we have a construction company, and then we have like a manufacturer, right? But when we get to like cybersecurity and compliance, the companies that need some kind of certification, somebody that needs some kind of federal requirement or like health information protection, like
Hmm.
medical offices, dental offices. So those are the clients that we see in that line of business. And then for the automation and emerging technologies, we see a lot of companies that are startups, right?
Okay.
Startups that need support with compliance, but also want to have an understanding or better consultancy on how they can improve their businesses. We have also regular mom and pop shops that want to say, hey, we have all of this technology that we're investing in already, but we just don't know how to use it. Can you help us?
Hmm.
So for example, like if you have Google Workspace,
Hmm.
there's a lot of things you could do in there that you
Yeah.
just are able to automate, but you just don't know how to do it. So we love to go in and look at people's business processes and say, technology can help you here, here, and here. You don't have to do it manually. You could just have it to where it's trigger based. Like if this happens, then that happens.
Yeah.
But you just have to be able to want to take that step and want to change. And with technology moving as fast as you are, well, as
It
fast as the
is.
business is today, it's like you're either going to adopt this or you're going to be left behind.
Yeah. Or it's going to run you at some point because
Yeah.
you're not running it.
Yes, that's
That's
right.
what we see a lot for sure in businesses. And I love that you're, kind of leading the way and communicating about automation because it is one of those things that I don't know but for you, but I definitely saw during COVID that so many more businesses were realizing like, wow, remote actually works and this isn't as hard as it seemed. And a lot more were open to that hybrid afterwards. Are
Mhm.
you seeing that there's some movement in automation and more openness to it? And even with Chat GPT and them getting to see the potential of what things could be done for them and saving time? Are you seeing more openness to that and desire for it?
I I am with, I would say, like younger business owners are
Okay.
open to automation, whereas like older business owners are still like, we've done this a certain way and it's been successful. And that's where like the education piece comes in, where it's just like, okay, I hate to say this, like copywriting and marketing and advertising, developing things. It's like you could sit there and spend 5 hours creating like a use case, or you could get a bunch of material, right, and have an AI like ChatGPT look at this material, refer to it, and create you a use case that may take, I don't know, 5, 6 minutes to write a prompt, and then you're able to dish out something
Right.
that is at least manageable, or you could still massage it. It's not going to be perfect, but just understanding those tools is an education piece for a lot of folks, because
Mhm.
technology, it's a little frightening. Like when I grew up, I had a Nintendo, or even an Atari, you had a joystick and you had one button. Now there's like 12 buttons on a controller. Like I stay away from those games, but unless, but now it's business. I have 12 buttons. I need to figure it out, or hire the people that know how to, know how to do this stuff, and
Right.
have them help you grow your business.
That's awesome. Yeah, I could totally see that. And it'll be interesting to see kind of the next evolution of this and where things go as the younger businesses start to take over the economy and all of these new technologies advance. So it's really cool that you're ahead of that. Are there some things that businesses should be concerned about from a risk standpoint? Or, it seems like since COVID as well, there's been an uptake in very creative, effective spam strategies. There's some going around with Microsoft right now that look pretty legitimate. And is that also something that you are kind of on the forefront of educating and
Yeah.
helping prevent? Okay. So tell
Yeah,
me more.
we're all about being a security first company, and that's just who we are, right? And with that, we always strive to push a security focused culture within our clients' organizations. And so part of our services that we provide security awareness training, which
Mhm.
is part of our learning management system. And we have a unique way of providing, like, hey, this is what you'd look for with a phishing attack, right? And these are some
Cool.
of the things that would be able to showcase, like, this is a red flag. Probably don't want to click on that. And then we also reinforce that with phishing. We actually perform phishing simulations, and we provide those reports to the companies and say, hey, this month you did all right. Nobody clicked on the 16 emails that we sent you that look like phishing emails. So that's great.
That is
Whereas, like, if somebody did click, we say, hey, there's probably some more reinforcement that needs to happen. So maybe more training, which we have a suite of training that we could provide. And on top of that, we also provide newsletters. So, and that's open to anybody. So if anybody wants to be part of our newsletters to at least stay on top of what's going on, that's what we want to be able to provide, and educate the user to ensure that they don't click on something to put some damage technology wise to their business.
Yeah, I love that. And how would someone actually get into your newsletter so that they are getting that valuable information?
You could go to our website, www.juncyber.com, and there should be a subscribe link on
Okay.
our website. And we have different topics like general cybersecurity, cryptocurrency, also artificial intelligence. Those, and then if you're in the defense space, we have like the cybersecurity maturity model certification newsletter, because that's a big topic that people want to understand. So you have those 4 lanes to pick from, all 4 or just one, but it's just keep you informed and let you know
Cool.
what's going on, and it's all curated with most recent news.
That's awesome. I love that. I'll make sure that that's in the description so everyone watching this can get that information
Awesome.
and
Thank you.
keep educating themselves. Because I think that is, staying ahead of technology is a lot of just educating yourselves, finding the right partners like you guys to make sure that someone is watching your back and helping you evolve on a consistent basis. When you look at your own business, because you're also a business owner, you work with business owners. And from me working with business owners, I really see a lot of the challenges are either trying to evolve their time and what they're doing, building a team, or looking at the financial side and saying, how do we grow profitability as we scale? For you guys, what are you really focused on in the next evolution of your business? What's a challenge that you're facing or working through, or have some solutions you're in the process of implementing?
So I would say one of the challenges that we have are that we are in a very saturated market,
Hmm.
right? So there are a lot of IT providers. So a lot of companies already have, like, hey, we have our IT company that we work with, right? So it's just like, okay, well, I can either displace them by, being a competitor, or, and this is what I've been working on now for the past couple of years, is I could start acquiring. So that's one of the strategies that we're working on. So we could, one, get more clients, our books build, right? And then two, get more capabilities with some of the staff that come aboard. So that's one key strategy that we're really working on
Yeah,
this
I
year. And
love that.
then, yeah, and then also it's marketing. Marketing is always a hard one, right? So it's just like, okay, how do you get in front of your target market? And even to this day, I would say technology is a challenge, because I had to admit to somebody, I'm like, I have no clue how like Google ads work, right? And I'm afraid that if I put something out there and it's pay per click, I'm going to spend $2,000 on the wrong market, right? And it's just like, I
Yeah.
don't want to do that. I want to reduce my risk because I'm a small business owner. I don't want to,
Yeah.
I want to know that my investment dollars are going to have a good ROI, or at least at minimum, get into the, get in front of the right people.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think those two things you just brought up are other business owners can identify with that. And I wish more of them were thinking about acquisitions like you are, because it is such a great strategy. And it's something we've worked with business owners to do, is get to that place where you can go and start to acquire to grow. In what you're looking for from an acquisition standpoint, what should someone, maybe someone's listening right now that has an IT firm, what are you really looking for in a great partner or someone to acquire?
So as far as a great partner would be somebody that has the same kind of drive and initiative that our company has. Somebody who's very forward thinking, right, and isn't afraid to like get their hands dirty as well. And they should have a decent book of business. We love recurring revenue, of course.
Mhm.
That's something that we take priority over just general like software development projects or project-based work. But also the connections and the relationships that you have are very important to us as well. So if you have those relationships with bigger companies to help us get bigger contracts, that's always good too. So as far as partnerships and acquisitions, that's what we're really looking for.
Okay, very cool. I might even have someone I can introduce you to. So
Awesome.
maybe someone else will too by listening to this. And I love that you brought up the Google ads and just, being honest that, some people have this perception of when you're in IT, then you know everything there is that seems like IT. But, Google ads is its own animal. And I always joke about with clients, like how easily Google will spend your money without you really knowing where it went. So it is one of those things a lot of businesses are looking to master. And I would say just in general, that marketing that you brought up, and I don't know if this is the same for you, but a lot of, even when you outsource marketing, they don't really give you a plan of attack and, how to really measure return, and are all those things that you're still working through, and how to really track your ROI and to put your time and money into the right areas when it comes to marketing.
Yeah, yeah. So I try to, well, marketing is a huge part of the budget because that's the only way that you're going to get clients.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I really try to do is be very intentful, or have a lot of intention with the marketing dollars. And that's why I'm like hesitant with some of the things that I've heard nightmare stories on, like, hey, I've spent $6,000 in 2 weeks on this and like I didn't get any leads. And I'm like, I don't want that to be me. So I'm very intentional with marketing dollars, and you just have to know that, okay, there's going to be a risk here. So do I do this and then I get a larger return in the end? So we have to, as business owners, think, okay, long term, if I do this, will this get me more revenue coming in, or get me in front of the right people in the long term? Because in the short term, it hurts. It hurts. You're just like, oh, another check goes out the door, and you're just like, you're praying that you're getting some ROI. But that's business.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's that balance between the farming and the hunting strategies. And how do you get that good balance where you're getting things immediately, but you're also planting the seeds of the future? And I think the seed planting is what can hurt a little bit, because you are putting that investment out without a fast return. So it's exciting for you to really work through that and figure out how you can keep leveling up as you start delegating more and getting to that next level. And I know a lot of business owners listening to this can relate to that, because they're definitely, it's probably the number one thing I hear all the time is to grow, we need more customers. And so of course there's other ways to grow profitability, but that is very much the focus of a lot of businesses and getting that more accurate. So that's an exciting thing for you. Is there something, to kind of sum this up, that really is your point of passion, or the thing that you kind of like cement yourself on, that keeps you motivated and keeps you getting up and continuing to want to grow this thing and support businesses? Like, what's behind that? What's really your core passion?
So my passion is having a great team behind me that supports my mission, right? And I make sure that I take really good care of them, and just want to make sure that they have everything that they need to do to be successful, because their success is also my success, which is like the organization's success in general. So I would say that invest the time and effort to not just hiring the right skills and the right people, but also the right attitude,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I've definitely had people that have said, I could do this, I could do this for you, but they were just difficult to work with. And it's just like you spent a lot of time hiring these folks, and they spent a lot of time training, but if it's not a good fit, then it's not a good fit. So spend the time training, cultivating the culture that you want, and you will see dividends in effort and motivation, and that in return is on investment is going to show in your sales and revenue.
Yeah, I love that. And we always joke that, you can hire based on all the things on a resume, but that's not what people get fired based on. It's all based on attitude and how you show up, which is what you just said. It's such a critical point of really building that amazing top performing team. So it's great to hear that that's your passion, is really building that team so that you can support your customers, and that they really feel that love all the way through, trickles down
Yep.
to them as well. That's awesome. And I know from an offer standpoint, or like a next step for someone to take, you mentioned the newsletter, which is awesome. Make sure that that website is in the details so that everyone can get that information. But is there any other, first step that is a really good step? Is it analysis that you do? Is it just a quick call? Like, what's really the next best step for someone to engage with you?
I think the best next step is just to give me a ring or shoot me an email, right? And say, hey, I've got a question, right? And typically I'm always there to like shoot an answer. And then if you have a question and you need me to come over and just generally talk, it's like, hey, let's talk about it. I think that one of the things that a lot of people don't understand is how technology could really help them really get the investment value of your investment in technology. So give me a ring, say, hey, this is what I'm working with, what can you do? And I will tell you, it's like, we could do a lot. It's like, you just don't know. It's like it's like you're on top of a gold mine, you're on top of like this deposit, right? And it's there. You just need to be able to get somebody that knows how to mine it and be able to show you, hey, I can make rings out of this.
Yeah, I love that. And it really sounds like you take this approach of being that consultant for them, which is a word you've used a few times. And so, there might be business owners watching this that have a managed services that it does keep their system running, but they're not getting that kind of advice and help thinking futuristically and strategically. And it sounds like that's really where you sit in kind of defining your uniqueness and helping them think ahead. And so it all starts with just sending you a question and
Yeah.
starting that consulting process and getting some information and ideas for how to move forward.
Mhm. Yeah, that's all we ask.
Very
Question.
cool. That's awesome. Well, it's been such a pleasure getting to know you and what you're up to. And I love that you're sharing so much great education. And thank you for doing that in your newsletter, because I know that takes effort, but I'm sure it makes a real difference. And just even offering your time to answer questions for anyone who wants to reach out to you. And I'm excited to see what comes next, because automation is definitely not stopping anywhere soon. And so you're really doing a great thing for being on the forefront of that. So thanks for your time, Wilson. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
See you around the community.
Yeah.